Hello everyone, my name is Anup Adhyapak. I'm a senior RF engineer at ETS Lindgren, and today we'll be talking about the analysis of the far-field condition for broadband quad-ridge horn antennas. Before I start my talk, I would like to acknowledge two people. One is Zong Chen, my colleague at ETS Lindgren, for his insightful feedback, and another would be David Rolando from ANSYS for his feedback and help regarding ANSYS simulations. So this would be the outline of the paper. First, I'll begin with the introduction, then the derivation of the acceptance criteria, then the broadband horn antenna analysis, and then we'll finish with my concluding remarks and my references. So antennas are an essential component in numerous applications, and hence it is extremely vital to characterize them accurately. These antennas can be measured for several parameters like the gain, efficiency, half power beam width, side lobe levels, first null levels, etc. Most of the characterization is conducted in quasi-reflection free environments like anechoic chambers fully lined with absorbers. The chambers and the absorbers are designed to minimize the reflections as much as possible, thereby imitating an ideal reflection-free environment. The reflectivity of the chamber usually defines the dynamic range of the measurements like the side lobe levels or the null levels. In addition, the measurements have to be taken at far field distances to accurately characterize the various parameters. The latest draft document of the IEEE 149 standard cites three different criteria to yield the far field distances as shown here. So the first condition is the electrical condition, the second one is the geometrical condition, and the third one is the Rayleigh condition. The final far field distance is chosen to be the stricter amongst the three conditions for antenna characterization. Now, the far field criteria which we just mentioned right now, it's definitely applicable for accurately characterizing several narrowband antennas. However, one would question if the same would also apply accurately or feasibly for broadband antennas. For example, the far field distance for a dipole antenna can be computed based on the physical dipole dimension. Like for a half wavelength dipole, you already know it's lambda by 2, which corresponds to the resonant frequency. Similarly, the far field distance for a standard gain horn antenna can also be computed based on the physical aperture diagonal length. But for a broadband horn antenna, like a quad-ridge horn antenna, considering the physical largest dimension of the antenna may yield accurate far-field distances at lower frequencies, but could lead to extremely long far-field distances for high frequencies, since the wavelength gets smaller over the frequency with the dimension held constant in the equations. Thus, chambers with extremely long path lengths will be needed to characterize the antenna across the frequency range, thereby increasing the costs as well. So we have to consider a concept of an electrical dimension as a function of frequency to compute the far-field distances for broadband antennas. So in this talk, we are going to explore the utilization of the near field to far field transformation theory to compute the electrical dimension and the corresponding far field distances across the frequency range for the broadband antenna. In addition, the far field distance characterization is conducted to efficiently evaluate the half power beam width parameter only. So we are not considering any other parameters, but only the half power beam width. So in classical spherical near field to far field transformation, the antenna under test is placed at the origin and the near fields are extracted from a scanned radius in the radiated near field, which is around 2 to 3 lambda away, from a minimal radial extent, which is MRE, that encompasses the antenna. The AUT spherical wave coefficients are determined from the transmission formula given in this equation over here. The AUT spherical wave coefficients are computed by a finite series of discrete linear operations and are used to compute the transform far fields. Additionally, in the summation of this equation, the upper limit for the parameter small n is capital N, the number of modes, which is given in this equation, which is kr plus 10. So with this curbs the number of spherical wave coefficients to represent the AUT energy to a finite significant power. The square brackets indicate the largest integer smaller than or equal to kr0. Now, based on the definition of the MRE R0, we want to correlate the MRE to the electrical dimension as electrical dimension D0 is which is equal to 2 times of R0 to compute the far field distances. In addition, so thus the number of modes n in consideration are limited to only kr0 without the additional 10 modes to correlate the MRE directly to the electrical dimension. Thus, the number of modes at each frequency is varied to accurately match the transformed pattern to the ideal far field pattern over a 3 dB solid angle with respect to a parameter equivalent noise level. Now, the equivalent noise level is mentioned in this equation. So this method is applied to a simulation of standard gain horn to extract the acceptance criteria of the equivalent noise level, uh, and then based on that acceptance criteria, this method is then applied to the simulated results of ETS Lindgren's 316405 broadband antenna, which is a broadband quad-ridge horn antenna from 2 to 18 gigahertz. The number of modes, corresponding electrical dimension, and the far field distances are computed at different frequencies, and they are compared to the far field distances computed per the physical dimension also. So to begin with the derivation of the acceptance criteria, three different standard gain horn antennas with different gains are simulated at 1 GHz in HFSS, in ANSYS HFSS. The gain of the three horn antennas in consideration are 13 dB, 17 dB, and 20 dB, with bounding box extended lambda by 4 on all sides. Now, the near field scan radius in the radiated near field region is defined at 2 lambda distance away from the horn structure and is stated in this table for the three horns. The near fields are extracted over theta and phi angular ranges with a step size of 1 degrees, transformed to far fields, and compared to the reference simulated far fields with respect to the equivalent noise level parameter over the half power beam at solid angle. The 3 dB solid angle also for the three horns are stated in this table here. Now, for transforming the near fields to far fields, the number of modes are sequentially reduced starting from 100 to evaluate the ENL values. As mentioned before, the number of modes n are equal to the product Kr0 without the additional 10 modes to correlate the MRE directly to the electrical dimension D0. The MRE in consideration is half of the aperture diagonal length of the horn antennas. Corresponding to the MRE, the number of modes are calculated and the ENL values at the calculated number of modes are considered for the acceptance criteria of the solid angle. So here what we see is for the 13 dB standard gain horn antenna, the aperture diagonal length is 0.76 meters, which corresponds to an MRE value of 0.38 meters. The equivalent number of modes computes to 8 modes, and the corresponding ENL value is 44 dB, is minus 44 dB, which is shown here, over the half power beam at a 3 dB solid angle. Similarly, for the 17 dB standard gain horn antenna, the aperture diagonal length is 1.2 meters, which corresponds to an MRE value of 0.6 meters, and correspondingly the ENL value is minus 42 dB. Going ahead, for the 20 dB standard gain horn antenna, the aperture diagonal length is 1.7 meters, which corresponds to MRE value of 0.85 meters, which is for 18 modes, and then the corresponding ENL value is minus 41 dB here. That's why based on these three different standard gain horn antennas ENL value, we set the acceptance criteria to minus 40 dB for further analysis. So, an interesting phenomena is the increase in the number of modes with the increase in the gain of the standard horn antennas, right? Thus, like at the same frequency, more number of modes have to be incorporated in the near field to far field transformation to accurately characterize the converging patterns over the 3 dB solid angle. In addition, the ENL values for extremely high number of modes with respect to the number of modes supported by the structure should be extremely low, right? Tending to negative infinity ideally. However, over here as we can see, it's like only like minus 50 dB, minus 60 dB, minus 67 dB. This is due to the accuracy of the simulations, since the near fields are computed based on the surface currents on the Huygens box surrounding the antenna structure. Thus, the meshing complexity of the Huygens box will drive the precision of the near fields and thereby the ENL values for such higher number of modes. So going ahead, similar to the standard gain horn and antenna analysis, here we are simulating the ETS Lindgren's broadband quad-ridge horn antenna of 3164-05, which goes from 2 to 18 gigahertz, and we simulate this in HFSS, right? Again, the bounding box dimensions are lambda by 4 distance away from the antenna structure with respect to the lowest frequency of the antenna, which is 2 gigahertz. In addition, The near field scan radius is set to 0.55 meters, which is about 2.5 lambda away from the structure with respect to the lowest frequency, and in the radiated near field region. So the near fields are extracted over the theta and phi angular ranges of 0.5 degree step size for better precision for the near field to far field transformation. The transform fields are then compared to the to the reference far fields which are simulated at several frequencies over the 3 dB solid angle. So obviously the 3 dB solid angle for the different frequencies are shown in this table here. The number of modes for the transformation are again sequentially reduced starting from 100 at each frequency to yield the corresponding ENL value below the acceptance criteria of minus 40 dB, and the corresponding MRE values are calculated. So what we have here is based on the 3164-05 analysis, the number of modes required to effectively characterize the 3 dB solid angle within the ENL criteria of minus 40 dB at 2 GHz is 7. The corresponding MRE value is 0.167, which is shown here, and the electrical dimension, which will be in consideration for the far field computation, is 0.334 meters. Now, this shows that the electrical dimension is much larger than the physical dimension of 0.15 at the lowest frequency of operation to efficiently characterize the half-power beamwidth of the far-field pattern. In addition, the ENL value at 2 GHz for number of modes higher than 10 is limited to minus 40.7 dB. This is due to the simulation accuracy and the meshing of the bounding box to compute the near fields at the scan radius. But then the simulation accuracy improves with the increase in frequency for number of modes higher than 30. Now, similarly, at like 5 gigahertz, as in how we reduce the number of modes from 100 to 10, and then we monitor the ENL value, it drops from it increases from minus 50 dB to minus 30 dB. And at 11 number of modes, we see that the ENL value is less than minus 40 dB limit. So that's why for 5 gigahertz, the number of modes which are needed to effectively characterize the 3 dB solid angle will be 11, and correspondingly the MRE will be 0.11. Similarly, at 8 gigahertz, it's 19 number of modes, and 10 gigahertz also it's 19 number of modes, and the corresponding ENL values are minus 45 dB and minus 40 dB respectively. So similarly, going ahead for the high frequencies at 12 gigahertz, again, when we are sequentially reducing the number of modes from 100, our ENL, and we are monitoring the ENL to not exceed the minus 40 dB, 40 dB limit. So then you can see that when we reach 23 number of modes, we have an ENL of minus 40 dB, and the corresponding MRE is 0.09 meters. Similarly, at 15 gigahertz, we will need 29 number of modes, and at 18 gigahertz, we'll need 42 number of modes to efficiently characterize the 3 dB solid angle within the ENL limit of minus 40 dB. So here we have tabulated the number of modes, the corresponding MRE, the corresponding electrical dimension, to effectively characterize the half power beam width within the ENL criteria of minus 40 dB for all the different frequencies. The far field distances based on the electrical dimension and the physical dimension are also included. The distances are calculated per the three different conditions given in the IEEE 149 draft document. Now, from spherical near field to far field theory, we know that each mode can be associated to a surface current pattern on the antenna surface. The combination of the surface currents of all the incorporated modes will constitute the far field pattern. Now, as seen from this table, the number of modes increase with the increase with the increase in frequency. This indicates that the number of modes and the associated cumulative surface currents needed to effectively characterize the 3 dB solid angle of the far field pattern also increases with the frequency, which is expected behavior. In addition, the electrical dimension at each frequency is actually larger than the physical dimension of 0.5 meters or 0.15 meters, right? So then the number of modes in consideration per the physical dimension will never be sufficient to characterize the half power beamwidth parameter, thereby omitting some of the surface currents associated to the higher number of modes at each frequency. And also the corresponding far field distances based on the electrical dimension over here are again higher than the far field distances based on the physical dimension. So if you're trying to measure the half power beam width parameter, you may not effectively measure it based on the far field distances per the physical dimension, but then you will actually need to go at a much larger distance based on the electrical dimension. Now, based on the current analysis, a supplemental question would be the number of modes and the corresponding far field distances needed to effectively characterize the entire radiation pattern and other antenna patterns parameters also, like the side lobe levels, the first null level position, the directivity, etc. So subsequent analysis will be conducted in future work to yield the number of modes and the far field criteria to characterize the other antenna parameters as well. So to conclude my talk here, uh, what, we, wha- to conclude my talk, conventionally the antenna's aperture dimension is considered for computation of the far field distance. Although it may hold true for narrowband antennas, the accuracy of the or the feasibility of the far field distance is questionable for broadband antennas throughout the frequency range. Thus, it is essential to analyze the electrical dimension of the broadband antenna over the frequency range and the corresponding far field distance. The far field distance will be again calculated based on the criteria laid out by the IEEE 149 draft document. So this discussion here utilized the near field to far field transformation theory to compute the electrical dimension over the frequency range to characterize the half power beam width parameter only of the antenna pattern. So, firstly, the near fields at a scanned radius were extracted and transformed to far fields for different standard gain horn antennas. The far fields were then compared to the reference simulated far fields to yield the acceptance criteria for the equivalent noise level parameter over the half power beam width solid angle. The number of modes considered in this analysis were related to the MRE by n is equal to kr0 without the extra 10 number of modes to correlate directly to the electrical dimension R0 of the antenna at each frequency. Thus, the number of modes were sequentially reduced from 100 to evaluate the ENL value over the 3 dB solid angle. For the standard gain horn antennas, the physical aperture length was considered as the electrical dimension and the ENL values at the corresponding number of modes were computed. Based on the ENL values of the standard gain horn antennas, an acceptance criteria of minus 40 dB was set for further analysis. In addition, a noteworthy aspect was the increase in the number of modes to efficiently characterize the 3 dB beam width of the antenna pattern with the increase in the gain of the standard gain horn antennas. In continuation, similar to the standard gain horn antenna analysis, the near fields extracted at scan radius were transformed and compared to the reference simulated far fields for the 316405 broadband antenna. The number of modes again was sequentially reduced from 100 for the transformation, and the ENL parameter value was computed for each iteration at every frequency basically. So as per the analysis, the number of modes increased with the increase in frequency to efficiently characterize the half power beam width of the antenna pattern, which was expected. Based on the number of modes satisfying the ENL acceptance criteria, the MRE and the electrical dimension were also computed at each frequency. The electrical dimension was actually found to be much larger than the physical dimension at each frequency due to the increase in the number of modes. Additionally, the far field distances computed per the far field criteria based on the electrical dimension were compared to the far field distances computed per the physical dimension of the antenna structure. Now, analogous to the electrical dimension, the far field distances per the electrical dimension are also larger than the far field distances per the physical dimension. Thus, to effectively characterize the half power beam width of the antenna pattern, the electrical dimension of the antenna over the frequency range and the corresponding far field distance is much larger than the physical dimension and the corresponding far field distance. Further study will be conducted to evaluate the far field distances for broadband horn antennas to characterize other parameters as well, like the side lobe levels or the first null position or the null levels or the etc. These are the references that I used for my analysis in this talk. And with that, I'll conclude my talk. Thank you very much for your time and patience for listening me out, and I'll be open to questions if there are any. Thank you.